did not ask to carry more. You did not raise your hand for the heavier load. Yet somehow, again and again, responsibility found its way to you, while others were allowed to drift, to delay, to fall apart. You were expected to hold steady. Even when you were young, people leaned on you emotionally. Even when you were tired, you were still the one expected to function. This did not happen by accident. You were selected. There is a quiet loneliness that comes with being the one who carries more. You feel it in ordinary moments when you solve problems at work that no one else wants to touch. When your name is mentioned only when something is wrong, not when things go right. You feel it at home, when you are the emotional regulator, the peacemaker, the one who absorbs tension so others can remain comfortable. You feel it in finances when you learn discipline early, not out of ambition but because survival demanded it. And there were moments you wondered if God was silent. You prayed, but the pressure stayed. You obeyed, but the road remained narrow. You did the right thing, and still found yourself misunderstood, overlooked, stretched thin. There were nights you lay awake asking a question you never said out loud: if I am doing what is right, why does it feel like I am being pressed even harder? This is where many misunderstand their story. They assume pressure means punishment. They assume resistance means rejection. But heaven does not test what it does not value. As the Spirit spoke through the prophet Zechariah, chapter 13, verse 9, I will refine them like silver and test them like gold. They will call on my name and I will answer them. Read that slowly. Refining is not destruction. Testing is not abandonment. Silver is heated because it is precious. Gold is placed in fire because it is worth purifying. If your life has felt like a furnace, it is not because you are weak, it is because you are valuable enough to be refined. Think of a real moment. A time when everything depended on you showing up, even though you were exhausted. A deadline that rested on your shoulders. A family situation where you had to be strong when you wanted to fall apart. A financial decision where you chose discipline while others chose comfort. You did not collapse. You adjusted. You endured. That endurance did not come from nowhere. This is what carrying more produces: depth. Depth of characters. Depth of discernment, depth of resilience. Others may shine quickly, but you last. Others may rise fast, but you are being fortified. While some are celebrated early and crumble later, you are being quietly reinforced from the inside out. The refining hurts, yes, but it also removes what cannot survive where you are going. Here is the hope you need to see clearly. Refinement has an end. Fire is not permanent. The goal is not pain. The goal is purity, strength, clarity. There will come a season where what once burned you will no longer control you. You will walk into rooms with calm authority. You will make decisions without panic. You will stand firm without forcing yourself. You are not being delayed. You are being prepared. The preparation requires honesty. And there is a question you must answer now, not later. Will you trust God in the refining, or will you keep interpreting pressure as rejection? Because the moment you understand this, something shifts inside you. You stop asking, why me, and start realizing, because I can handle it. You stop resenting the weight and begin respecting what it has produced in you. You stop shrinking under responsibility and start standing upright with it. This does not mean life becomes easy. It means you become steadier. You will still carry more, but you will carry it with clarity instead of confusion, with peace instead of panic. And when the season changes, when the fire cools, what remains will be stronger than what entered it. Remember this: God answers those he refines. The verse did not end with testing, it ended with response. They will call on my name, and I will answer them. Your prayers are not ignored. They are being shaped. So if this message speaks to you, take a moment now, like the video. Share it with someone who is quietly enduring. Subscribe to stay connected and comment 999 below as a declaration. I understand the refining now. You may not always feel strong, but strength is not always loud. Sometimes it looks like restraint. Sometimes it looks like walking away when ego wants revenge. Sometimes it looks like staying steady while everything around you shakes. Quiet strength is still strength, and heaven recognizes it even when people do not. There will be moments when you wish you were less aware, less sensitive, less accountable. But that awareness is what keeps you from destroying yourself. The very conscience that feels heavy now will one day be the reason you still stand when others collapse under choices they thought were harmless. Do not envy lives that look free but lack direction. Freedom without purpose burns time and drains identity. You were not created to drift, you were shaped to arrive. Even when you stumble, the mark on your life keeps calling you back, not to shame you, but to realign you with what you were built for. One day, you will look back and realize the discipline saved you, the limits guarded you, and the pressure matured you. What felt restrictive was actually refining your reach. You were never being controlled. You were being preserved for a moment that requires the kind of strength only the marked can carry. Before Samson ever lifted a jawbone, before strength ever surged through his arms, before enemies ever feared his name, a decision had already been made about his life. Samson was marked before he was born. His mother was told that this child would be set apart, consecrated, different. He would not live like others. Certain freedoms would never belong to him. Certain boundaries would define him. His strength would not be random, it would be tied to obedience. Long before Samson understood himself, heaven had already defined him. That is where your story quietly aligns with his. You were marked early too, maybe not with a prophecy spoken aloud, but with circumstances that separated you, rules others did not have, responsibilities that came too soon, expectations placed on you before you felt ready. You noticed early that your life came with limits others did not understand. While they experimented freely, you felt restrained. While they wandered, something kept pulling you back into order, into consequence, into awareness. Samson's mark was visible in his lifestyle. Yours showed up in patterns. You could not live recklessly without consequences. You could not ignore your conscience for long. Every time you tried to live like everyone else, something inside you resisted. That resistance was not weakness. It was the mark. There is a quiet grief that comes with being marked. You watch others take shortcuts and still succeed. You watch them cross lines and appear untouched. Meanwhile, one small compromise costs you deeply. One wrong alignment drains you. One ignored conviction unsettles your peace. You wonder why your life feels so monitored, so sensitive, so intense. Samson had that tension too. His strength made him different, but his desires made him conflicted. He was chosen, yet human, marked, yet tempted. And this is where many people misunderstand the story. Samson did not fall because he was weak. He fell because he forgot he was marked. This matters for your daily life. In your work, you are held to a higher internal standard. You cannot cut corners without losing sleep. You cannot lie without it echoing in your chest. In relationships, you feel misaligned quickly. What others tolerate drains you. In finances, impulsiveness punishes you faster than it does others. You are not unlucky. You are marked. The Word of God declares in the book of Judges, chapter 13, verse 5, "For the child shall be a Nazirite to God from the womb. and he shall begin to deliver Israel. Notice the order: marked first, purpose second, deliverance later. Being set apart always comes before being sent. There are seasons where being marked feels unfair. You feel restricted while others seem free. But freedom without purpose is not freedom, it is drift. Samson's strength was not for self-indulgence. It was for assignment. When he used it casually, he paid dearly. When he aligned with purpose, nations shifted. This is where your story becomes practical, not mystical. Think about how often you are placed in situations where others look to you for stability. A family crisis where you become the calm one. A workplace conflict where your voice brings clarity. A moment when someone confides in you because they sense depth. Not because you advertise it. You did not apply for these roles. They find you. Being marked means you carry influence even when you are silent. But there is also a warning woven gently into hope. Samson lost clarity when he treated his mark casually, when he forgot the source of his strength. He assumed it would always be there. That assumption cost him time, vision, and freedom, not permanently but painfully, as was spoken in the sacred texts of old, recorded in the book of Proverbs, chapter 4, verse 23. Above all else, guard your heart, for everything you do flows from it. For you, guarding your heart is not optional, it is survival. What you allow close to you shapes your strength. Who you listen to matters. What you normalize matters. The mark on your life responds to alignment, not entitlement. Now hear the hope clearly. Samson's story did not end in failure. Even after loss, even after blindness, even after humiliation, his strength returned when his alignment returned. God did not erase the mark because of a fall. He restored it when humility replaced pride. That same mercy is active in your life. Being marked does not mean being perfect. It means being called back when you drift. It means correction comes quicker. But so does restoration. It means you are not discarded for missteps, you are redirected. There will come a season where you understand why you could never live lightly. Where the discipline that frustrated you becomes the structure that supports you. Where the limits that annoyed you become the boundaries that protected you. Where the mark that isolated you becomes the authority that distinguishes you. So consider this quietly, honestly, without fear. What if the restrictions in your life were never punishment, but protection for what you carry? You are not behind. You are being preserved. You are not missing out. You are being prepared. And like Samson, your strength is not random, it responds to remembrance. When you remember who you are and whose you are, what was drained can be restored. Being marked before birth does not mean your path is easy. It means it is intentional. Isolation did not arrive loudly in your life. It slipped in quietly, disguised as distance, timing, misunderstanding. Messages slowed, invitations faded. Even when you were surrounded by people, you felt strangely alone, as if you were present physically but absent emotionally. At first, you assumed something was wrong with you. Later, you realized something was being done to you, not against you. Isolation was not rejection, it was redirection. Before a person can walk with clarity, they must learn how to stand without noise. Before discernment sharpens, distractions must be stripped away. You were not removed because you were unworthy of connection. You were separated because too many voices would have blurred what was forming inside you. This separation showed up in ordinary, sometimes painful ways. At work, you stopped enjoying surface conversations. Gossip felt heavy. Small talk drained you. You noticed that while others bonded over complaints, you felt unsettled by them. In relationships, you desired depth but felt misunderstood. You were present, yet unseen. In family settings, you loved them but sensed you were operating from a different internal compass. That difference was not arrogance. It was alignment shifting. Isolation forces honesty. Without constant feedback, you could no longer define yourself by approval. You could not measure your worth by how often you were needed or praised. You had to sit with your thoughts, your fears, your motives. This was uncomfortable. Many people avoid this space their entire lives. You were led into it. And that word "led" matters, as the Spirit spoke through the prophet Hosea. Chapter 2, verse 14. Therefore I am now going to allure her. I will lead her into the wilderness and speak tenderly to her. The wilderness is not abandonment. It is a private meeting place. God does not shout over crowds, He speaks clearly in quiet spaces. What felt like emptiness was actually intentional distance so you could hear without interference. While others filled silence with noise, you were taught to sit still enough to listen. Think about what changed in you during that season. You became more observant. You noticed patterns faster. You sensed misalignment early, sometimes without evidence. Just an internal check you could not ignore. You stopped rushing decisions. You began to feel consequences before they arrived. This is not anxiety, this is perception. Discernment is born in silence. Isolation trained you to listen inwardly instead of reacting outwardly. You learned when to speak and when to stay quiet. You learned that not every battle requires engagement. You learned that peace is not the absence of people, but the absence of confusion. Yet there were hard days. Days when the quiet felt suffocating. Nights when you replayed conversations wondering what you did wrong. Moments when you questioned whether you were too much or not enough. You reached for connection and found none. You prayed and heard nothing back. And still, you stayed. That staying mattered. Because while you felt alone, something was being rebuilt. Your dependency on external validation weakened. Your tolerance for chaos dropped. Your need to explain yourself dissolved. You stopped chasing understanding and started trusting alignment. This has practical effects in daily life. In your work, you no longer rush to prove yourself. You observe first. You speak with intention. You carry a quiet authority that does not need to announce itself. In finances, you think long-term. You feel uneasy about impulsive choices. In relationships, you sense quickly who drains you and who steadies you. Loneliness no longer pushes you into compromise. Isolation matured you. But here is the tension you must face. Honestly, isolation can either soften you or harden you. It can turn you inward with wisdom or close you off with resentment. The difference is not the season itself, but how you interpret it. If you believe you were abandoned, bitterness grows. If you recognize you are being spoken to, clarity forms. Now consider this question carefully. Did the silence empty you, or did it teach you how to listen? Because listening changes everything. When you listen, you stop forcing outcomes. You stop over-explaining. You stop chasing people who cannot meet you at depth. You begin to move with timing instead of urgency. You recognize when to wait and when to act. The wilderness does not last forever, but what it gives you stays. You will return to people differently. You will engage without losing yourself. You will connect without dissolving your boundaries. You will hear noise, but you will not be ruled by it. Others may not understand the calm you carry, but they will feel it. This is the gift of isolation rightly understood. And now, as you stand on the edge of a new season, there is a simple response, not loud, not dramatic, but honest. Write this below. Speak, Lord. This is not a plea, it is a posture. It means you are no longer running from silence. You are no longer afraid of stillness. You are ready to listen without distraction, without demand, without fear. Isolation shaped you, but it did not diminish you. It cleared space. It sharpened hearing. It prepared you for conversations that require depth. The wilderness was never the destination. It was the place where your clarity was formed. There comes a season when mercy feels distant, not absent but quiet. You are still breathing, still functioning, still believing. Yet the warmth you once felt seems withdrawn. Prayers do not echo the same way. Progress slows. Doors hesitate. You do not fall apart, but you feel watched, measured, as if something sacred is waiting to see what you will do next. This is not abandonment. This is accountability. There is a difference between mercy that rescues and mercy that observes. Early mercy catches you when you stumble. Later mercy steps back not to punish, but to see if what was built inside you can now stand. This is the transition few are taught to recognize, and many misinterpret it as rejection. But you are still here. In daily life, this season feels unmistakable. At work, you notice mistakes cost more now. You are no longer endlessly corrected, you are expected to know. In finances, impulsive decisions no longer fade quietly, they echo. In relationships, patterns repeat until confronted. You feel less shielded and more exposed, as though life itself is asking whether you are ready to carry responsibility without constant intervention. That exposure is not cruelty. It is confirmation that you are no longer a child. There were times you wished God would intervene the way He used to, fixing things quickly, smoothing consequences, closing gaps before they widened. Instead, you were allowed to feel the weight of your choices, the dignity of consequence, the gravity of stewardship. And still you did not run. You slowed down. You became deliberate. You asked better questions instead of demanding immediate relief. You realized grace had not vanished. It had changed posture. Grace was no longer lifting you, it was watching you walk. The ancient words recorded in the book of Lamentations, chapter 3, verse 31, still echo today, for the Lord will not cast off forever. That sentence carries more hope than noise ever could. Not forever. Silence is not permanence. Distance is not dismissal. Mercy sometimes steps back so wisdom can step forward. This is where you learn self-governance. You stop asking, can I get away with this? You start asking, is this worthy of who I'm becoming? That internal shift rewires your life. You pause before reacting, son. You think before spending. You listen without preparing defense. You choose restraint not because you are afraid, but because you are clear. Clarity does not feel warm at first. It feels steady, unshakable, quietly authoritative. There were days the stillness felt heavy. Days when you wondered if you had missed your moment or disappointed heaven. But something inside you remained anchored. You did not numb yourself. You did not rebel. You stayed present even when reassurance was delayed. That staying mattered, because mercy is not impressed by performance, it watches posture. It is not seeking perfection. It looks for humility. It waits to see whether you will choose alignment even when no one is applauding your obedience. This is how integrity is formed. Integrity is who you are when shortcuts appear. Integrity is obedience without witnesses. Integrity is choosing right when reward is delayed. And slowly, almost imperceptibly, hope begins to return. Not as excitement, but as quiet alignment. Conversations reopen. Opportunities reappear without force. Peace settles without explanation. Not because you pleaded, but because you endured. Mercy does not return to carry you. It returns to walk beside you. Soon, you will notice that what once felt like pressure now feels like trust. You are no longer handled gently. You are handled honestly. And honesty is a form of respect. So consider this question. Gently, without self-accusation, who did you become while mercy felt distant? If the answer is steadier, if it is wiser, if it is slower to react but quicker to discern, then nothing was wasted. And now, near the end of this passage, there is no command, only an invitation. If these words feel less like a speech and more like a mirror, you are free to respond in quiet, meaningful ways. Some press a seal into warm wax, not to be seen, but to acknowledge this is true. Some carry a flame across the dark, passing it gently to someone still walking through the dusk you have crossed. And some choose to remain near the source, not out of obligation, but because clarity has a way of calling us back when the noise begins to rise again. No pressure, no coercion, only the beauty of choosing connection because it feels right. Mercy did not leave you, it trusted you. And that trust is about to bear fruit. You will soon notice that your reactions have changed. What once provoked urgency now meets patience. What once demanded explanation now receives silence. This is not emotional withdrawal. It is discernment. You no longer rush to correct every misunderstanding because your peace no longer depends on being understood. There is a quiet confidence forming in you, not rooted in outcomes but in alignment. You trust your footing even when the path narrows. You do not need constant confirmation that you are doing the right thing. You feel it internally, like balance returning after a long season of instability. Others may not recognize this transformation immediately. They may mistake your calm for distance or your restraint for hesitation. Let them. Not every shift is meant to be explained. Some growth is only visible to those who have walked through similar silence and learned to stand without leaning. What comes next will not require force. It will require readiness. And readiness is what this season gave you. You are not stepping forward empty-handed, you are carrying wisdom earned quietly. Mercy trusted you with space, and you learned how to inhabit it without losing yourself. There is a subtle habit you learned without realizing it, avoiding the full weight of what you carry by never naming it clearly. You kept moving, stayed responsible, handled what needed to be done, but you rarely stopped to say, "This is heavy." Not because you were unaware, but because naming it felt dangerous. If you called it what it was, you might have to face it, and facing it might require change. But avoidance has a cost. When a burden is unnamed, it leaks into everything. It shows up as fatigue you cannot explain, irritation that surprises you, a sense of pressure that never fully lifts. Even on good days, you are not overwhelmed because you are weak. You are overwhelmed because you have been carrying weight without language. So this section is not about motivation, it is about practice. The first instruction is simple, but uncomfortable. Stop running from the weight, call it by its real name. In daily life, this looks very practical. Instead of saying, "I'm just tired," you say, "I am carrying financial responsibility alone." Instead of "work has been stressful," you say, "I am holding expectations that exceed my authority." Instead of "family stuff is complicated," you say, "I am the emotional container for people who refuse to process their own pain." Naming removes confusion. Confusion drains energy. Clarity restores it. You may be surprised how much strength returns the moment you stop minimizing what you carry. You are not complaining when you name reality. You are positioning yourself to carry it correctly. The second instruction follows naturally. Separate the burden from your identity. You have carried so much for so long that responsibility started to feel like who you are, not what you are holding. But burdens are assignments. not identities. You are not the strong one. You are a person entrusted with strength for a reason. When you confuse the two, rest feels like failure and boundaries feel like betrayal. In practice, this means allowing yourself to say no without guilt. It means declining roles that drain you simply because you are capable. It means recognizing that being dependable does not require being endlessly available. Authority requires limits. You may feel resistance here. That resistance is not selfishness, it is recalibration. The third instruction is quieter, but critical. Build structure around the weight. Unstructured responsibility exhausts you faster than heavy responsibility. Look at your daily rhythms. Are you carrying financial stress without a plan? Emotional responsibility without time to decompress, work pressure without recovery space, weight without structure collapses the carrier. Structure looks ordinary. Budgets, schedules, boundaries, time blocks, conversations that clarify expectations. None of these are spiritual shortcuts, but they are spiritual wisdom applied. This is where many people fail. They pray for relief but refuse structure. But structure is how relief arrives. The Apostle Paul wrote in the letter to the Galatians, chapter 6, verse 5, "For each one should carry their own load." This verse is often misunderstood. It does not mean carry everything alone. It means carry what is yours, not what belongs to others. Discernment is knowing the difference. Maturity is acting on it. The fourth instruction is relational. Stop carrying what was never assigned to you. You may feel responsible for outcomes that are not yours to manage. Other people's emotions and other people's growth, other people's reactions. You step in early. Absorb tension, smooth conflict, prevent collapse. Over time, this trains others to stay immature while you stay exhausted. This is not love, it is misdirected responsibility. In daily life, this looks like letting people experience consequences without rescuing them. Allowing silence instead of over-explaining, trusting others to rise or not without your intervention. This does not make you cold. It makes you accurate. The number 555 is not magic, it is alignment in motion. It represents a transition where old patterns can no longer hold what you are becoming. When you write it, you are acknowledging change is required, not someday, but now. It marks your willingness to release avoidance and step into responsible clarity. By choosing 555, you are signaling readiness to move differently. It means you stop carrying weight unconsciously and start carrying it intentionally. This number reflects momentum with direction change that is structured, deliberate, and grounded. It is not chaos. It is growth finally given a name. The fifth instruction is internal. Schedule honesty with yourself, not reflection. Honesty. Reflection asks, how am I doing? Honesty asks, what am I avoiding? Set aside time weekly, not occasionally, to ask yourself direct questions. Where am I stretched beyond capacity? What am I tolerating that drains me? What decision am I delaying because it will disappoint someone? These answers may unsettle you. That is a sign they are truthful. Now here is the hope threaded through all of this. When you stop avoiding the weight, it stops controlling you. When you name it, structure it, and carry only what is yours, the burden becomes authority. Authority feels different than pressure. Authority steadies you instead of compressing you. You begin to feel grounded again. You walk into work clearer. You handle money calmer. You show up in relationships without resentment, not because the weight vanished, but because it is finally aligned. So let this question meet you plainly. What burden are you still calling normal because you are afraid to name it? Naming it will not crush you, it will free you. If this section speaks to where you are right now, mark this moment. Comment 555 below, not as a signal to others to num, but as a reminder to yourself, I will carry what is mine. Clearly and correctly. There comes a moment when preparation stops feeling theoretical and starts demanding decision. Not a dramatic public decision, but a quiet one that alters direction. This is the point of obedience. It does not arrive with noise or urgency. It arrives with clarity. You suddenly see what must be done, and the only tension left is whether you will do it. Up until now, delay was understandable. You were learning, healing, regaining balance. But this moment is different. You are no longer confused. You are simply standing at a threshold where hesitation begins to cost more than action. Obedience at this stage is not about morality alone. It is about alignment, about choosing what you already know to be right, even when it inconveniences you, especially when it inconveniences you. This shows up in ordinary life more than people expect. In work, it may mean having the difficult conversation you have postponed, clarifying boundaries, or stepping away from a role that no longer fits, even if it feels risky. In finances, it may mean changing habits you have justified for too long, creating structure instead of relying on last-minute effort. In relationships, it may mean telling the truth without cushioning it, or releasing a connection that survives only because you keep carrying it. None of these choices feel heroic. They feel uncomfortable. But discomfort is often the doorway obedience walks through. The danger here is subtle. It is not rebellion, it is delay. Delay feels harmless because it pretends to be wisdom. Not yet. I'll wait until it's clearer. I need more time, but clarity is already present. What you are waiting for is courage. There is a cost to prolonged delay that few talk about. Discernment dulls when ignored. Convictions soften when postponed. What once felt urgent begins to feel optional. This is how people lose sharpness, not by choosing wrong, but by refusing to choose right when the moment required it. This is why obedience is time-sensitive. The ancient words recorded in the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 30, verse 19. Speak with unsettling clarity. This day I call the heavens and the earth as witnesses against you that I have set before you life and death, blessings and curses. Now choose life. Notice the language this day, not someday, not when conditions are ideal, not when fear disappears. Choice is framed as present, not future, and choice is framed as responsibility, not emotion. Obedience does not wait for comfort. You may feel the weight of what is at stake. That is normal. When obedience matters, it feels heavy. But heaviness does not mean danger. It means significance. Light decisions do not carry consequences. This one does. You might be tempted to ask, what if I get it wrong? But that question assumes inaction is neutral. It is not. Inaction is a choice with its own consequences. Obedience is rarely about certainty. It is about trust. Trust that what has been built in you is sufficient for the step ahead. Think back over your journey. The isolation sharpened your hearing. The refining strengthened your integrity. The clarity taught you restraint. You are not standing here unprepared. You are standing here equipped. This is why the moment feels quiet rather than chaotic. You are not being pushed. You are being invited. Obedience at this level does not require explanation to everyone. In fact, explaining too much can weaken resolve. Some steps are meant to be taken without consensus. Not because you are secretive, but because alignment does not always translate to those who are not walking your path. You will notice something once you choose. Peace does not arrive all at once. It arrives in fragments. A lighter breath, a steadier sleep, fewer internal arguments. These are signals, not rewards. They tell you that resistance has ended. There may still be challenges. Obedience does not eliminate opposition, it clarifies direction. But direction changes how you carry difficulty. What once felt oppressive now feels purposeful. Here is the deeper truth. Obedience protects your sight. When people consistently override conviction, they lose the ability to perceive consequences clearly. But when they respond to conviction, perception sharpens. Obedience keeps you seeing. This is not about perfection. You will still make mistakes, but mistakes made in obedience teach differently than mistakes made in avoidance. One refines, the other erodes. So pause here not to hesitate, but to acknowledge where you stand. You know what the next right step is. You know what conversation must happen. You know what habit must change. You know what must end or begin. The question is not whether God has spoken. The question is whether you will respond. This moment will pass. It always does. And when it does, it will either become a point of alignment you remember with gratitude, or a moment you look back on wondering what might have changed if you had moved when clarity was present. Choose life not abstractly, but practically. Choose alignment over delay. Choose obedience over comfort. You are not being tested to see if you will fail. You are being trusted to see if you will act. This is the quiet courage of the chosen. There is a quiet shift that happens when you reach the far side of endurance. You do not feel louder. You do not feel superior. You simply feel finished with certain versions of yourself. The one who kept questioning their worth. The one who carried weight without understanding why. The one who survived but never fully stood upright. You are not arriving as someone new. You are arriving as someone revealed. Everything you walked through now begins to arrange itself into meaning. The pressure was not random. The isolation was not cruelty. The restraint was not delay. It was alignment. You were being shaped to carry authority without arrogance, strength without hardness, clarity without fear. This is what it means to be crowned not with attention, but with trust. In daily life, this crown looks subtle but undeniable. It looks like calm where panic used to live. It looks like patience where urgency once ruled. It looks like discernment that stops you from overgiving, over-explaining, overreacting. You walk into rooms without shrinking. You leave situations without guilt. You no longer chase understanding, you allow time to reveal truth. People will feel it before they name it. Some will feel safe around you. Some will feel exposed by you. Some will quietly remove themselves. Let them. A torch does not negotiate with darkness. It does not shout. It does not run. It simply burns steadily where it is placed. And that steadiness becomes guidance for anyone searching their way through uncertainty. That is what you are becoming, not a momentary blaze, but a reliable light. The ancient words spoken through the prophet Isaiah, chapter 61, verse 3, describe this exchange clearly. They will be called oaks of righteousness, a planting of the Lord for the display of His splendor. Oaks are not impressive because they are fast. They are impressive because they last. Their strength is underground before it is ever visible. Their stability comes from seasons no one applauded. Storms passed, winds raged, but their roots went deeper instead of wider. And eventually, the very storms that threatened them proved how anchored they were. This is your story now. You are not crowned to dominate. You are crowned to steward. You are not elevated to escape responsibility. You are elevated to carry it without resentment. The burden you once resisted has become the authority you now hold. You no longer see responsibility as punishment. You see it as trust. And trust changes how you carry everything: work, finances, relationships, decisions. You no longer hurry to prove yourself. You no longer explain yourself into exhaustion. You no longer stay where alignment has left. This does not make you distant. It makes you accurate. There is a grounded hope here, not fantasy, not hype. A hope that looks like consistency, like waking up without dread, like making choices without inner chaos, like knowing when to act and when to wait. This is the reward of endurance. And now, as this journey comes to a close, there is no instruction being handed to you, only an open space, a moment where action is not demanded, but offered, where response is not required, but invited. If these words have steadied your steps, you may choose to leave a quiet footprint behind, not to announce yourself, but to acknowledge I was here, and this mattered. Some will fold this message like a map and place it gently into another's hands, knowing they may need it later. And some will decide to keep returning to this ground, not because they must, but because roots grow best where truth feels familiar. These are not obligations. They are gestures of resonance. They are choices made without pressure. Whether you mark the ground softly, carry the map onward, or remain near this place of clarity as your path continues, that decision is yours, and yours alone. Beauty never forces itself. Truth never begs. What matters is this: you no longer walk unaware. You know why you were different. You know why the wait stayed. You know why the path narrowed. You were selected to carry more, not because you were expendable, but because you were reliable. Not because you were unbreakable, but because you were teachable. And now, you carry not just weight, but wisdom. Stand tall, oak of righteousness, and the ground recognizes you now. What lies ahead will not demand you to prove anything. It will ask you to be consistent, to show up grounded, to choose clarity over impulse, to move at a pace that honors wisdom rather than urgency. This is not the end of struggle, but it is the end of confusion. You will notice how little you need external validation now. Praise no longer intoxicates you. Criticism no longer destabilizes you. You listen, discern, and move on. This emotional independence is not detachment, it is maturity. You are no longer easily pulled off center by noise. Some paths will quietly close behind you without drama or explanation. Do not chase them. What no longer aligns does not deserve negotiation. Closure does not always arrive as understanding. Sometimes it arrives as peace that no longer asks questions. Carry forward what has been earned: patience, restraint, courage, discernment. These are not temporary tools, they are now part of your posture. Whatever season unfolds next, you will not meet it unprepared. You are no longer becoming, you are standing. You have reached the edge of this message, not as someone who needs answers, but as someone who now knows how to listen. Nothing more needs to be explained. Nothing needs to be proven. What mattered has already landed quietly, personally, in the way truth always does when it is meant to stay. If some part of this journey felt useful to you, you are free to let it travel. Not loudly, not forcefully. Simply the way a thought is passed from one person to another when the timing feels right. Sometimes sharing is not about agreement. It is about recognition. You recognize something here, and you sense someone else might recognize it too. And if this message did not fully resonate, that is also allowed. Not every word is meant for every season. You are not required to keep what does not fit. But perhaps there was a single sentence, a single idea, a single quiet realization that paused you for a moment. If so, you may keep only that. Truth does not demand full acceptance to be valuable. Sometimes it only asks to be remembered. An open ending is not unfinished, it is respectful. It trusts that you know what to do with what you were given. Whether you pass it along, return to it later, or simply carry one small insight forward into your daily life, each choice is complete in itself. You do not need to rush away from this moment. Let it settle naturally. Let it blend into your thoughts, your decisions, your posture. Meaning does not always announce itself immediately. Often, it reveals its weight over time, when you realize you are responding differently than before. So take what steadied you, leave what did not, share what feels right, keep what feels true. Nothing here asks for more than that, and whatever stays with you as you step back into your life, that is enough.